When I was little, my father was famous. He was the greatest samurai in the empire. He cut off the heads of 131 lords. He was the greatest samurai in the empire. And he took me with him.
Hey everybody, this one's going to be a pretty quick turnaround for me as I got this link sent to me this morning by The Bloody Truth. You may remember The Bloody Truth as the guy who tried to defend D. Marble's bad globe understanding by coming at me, and I bodied him several times over it, and he finally admitted he was wrong. He's since made other claims and run them by me, and I've been kind enough to correct him. But this is the last time. Dude, you need to stop sending me these things. Well, you need to stop making these videos because you're really bad at thinking things through. But since you won't do that, because you're bad at thinking things through, you need to stop sending them to me, like you've dropped a truth bomb, because I'm just going to take you to school again. You know that, right? But I'm going to do this one more time because the Bloody Truth's video contains several claims that I've corrected in the past on the comment threads, but not on camera. So I figure if I address them here, I won't have to repeat them in the comment threads anymore. His video is called 15 NASA Documents Prove Flat Earth, and once again shows a lack of understanding of how things actually work. Before I get to the meat of his video, which is those NASA documents, I want to talk about the bread of this garbage sandwich, because he surrounds his main point with a lot of bogus claims and arguments from incredulity that have come up before. So let's look at these. First off, he shows this ISS footage that many before him have done, implying that these videos are faked with CGI or wires or both. You have this shot here of the astronaut floating by, and the basic argument is he looks like he's on a wire, which is not actually a valid argument. And there's this shot here of the astronaut flipping over where they want to claim he's on wires and that this astronaut is grabbing the wire to pull the other in. People like The Bloody Truth seem to think that wires are magic. If this astronaut was grabbing a wire here, then why didn't the flipping guy have to bring his arms and legs in to avoid the wire? Do wires become intangible at will? And maybe if you people used your eyes more, you would see that the astronaut is grabbing onto the other's pocket right there. You can't trust your senses that you don't know how to use, guys. No, let's focus on the fact that this woman astronaut has gel in her hair to keep it out of the way. So after he discusses the NASA documents, he goes back to poor observational claims, showing a shot of an astronaut with creases that look like wire pulls, but ignoring the fact that the full video was nearly 20 minutes of continuous weightlessness, with the Astros interacting with free-floating objects, even turning themselves around. And by the way, if Chris Hadfield here is on a wire, he is amazing, because I know a lot of athletic people, but I don't know anyone that can hold this position for so long on a wire. Then you have this shot here, where the person making the claim somehow doesn't see that in the original video, the astronaut's face passes in front of the shuttle because it's a reflection of the person operating the camera on the window. Another shot of an astronaut apparently on a wire that doesn't need to bring his arms in because wires are magic. Then for a while, he makes a speech about how NASA is trying to control people and how anyone who refuses to acknowledge it is a coward. He then shows more footage that others have produced. This one claims to be an accidental reveal of the CGI screen during a NASA tour on the left and the final broadcast on the right. The people who claim this seem to think CGI works like the Star Trek holodeck. They don't recognize this as the measurement tool that it is. You put this behind you, and since you know the spacing of the lines, you can calculate the distance traveled and the speed of the objects you move in front of it. That's science, not CGI. Then there are ghost images that are supposed to mean something because broadcasts never have glitches. Then we have corpuscular rays, which have been debunked by everyone, including me, in the past. We have the false claim that NASA means to deceive in Hebrew, which it does not. But hey, you might as well try to blame things on the Jews again, right? Of course. Anyway, all of that garbage aside, let's look at his main claim. That NASA admits in 15 documents that the Earth is flat and stationary. He sums it up here.
In each and every separate document, it is clearly stated that all tests and calculations related to that document are based on, and I quote, a stationary atmosphere over a flat and non-rotating Earth. You heard me right. A stationary atmosphere over a flat, non-rotating Earth.
And yes, that is what those documents say. But here's the thing. None of them say that the Earth is flat and stationary. None of them. Wait, what? Wait, didn't he just say? Yeah. The thing is that this statement that NASA makes in those documents is not about the actual condition of the Earth. In each of those documents, NASA is talking about the equations used to calculate different things, like optimal launch paths. These are general calculations that need to be applied in a variety of ways, and there are base assumptions that have to be made. They don't know the specifics of a particular scenario that calculation is going to be applied to, so they make a catch-all formula, assuming certain things. This is done for speed and ease of calculation. How do I know this? Well, one document just says, the analytical approach provides a rapid means for analyzing a time-optimal trajectory for aircraft performance. And because every one of these documents I looked up says that these are assumptions made for the formula with no mention of the Earth being flat itself. We also know that these are assumptions made for the ease of calculation because of the other values put into these formulas. One of the documents says its formula has the aircraft modeled as a point mass. Are they saying that an aircraft is a point mass? Or are they simplifying things here? It also speaks of leaving out certain wind components that actually exist. Again, simplifying. Many of the formulas speak of assuming the craft is a rigid body, which means it doesn't deform in any measurable way. Do such aircraft exist? No. One of the formulas is for an advanced launch system for putting objects into orbit from Earth and assumes not only a flat Earth, but a vacuum. Is this NASA admitting that the surface of the Earth is a vacuum? Of course not. All of those are obvious assumptions meant to simplify the calculations. I could go on for a while here, but here are a couple more crucial points that the Bloody Truth and whoever he got this idea from failed to notice. In the fifth document he listed in his description, it says on page 7, it is assumed herein that the Earth is represented as a flat, non-rotating reference frame. And then continues, this assumption limits the analysis to short-range, short-duration flights. Does that sound like it's saying the Earth is actually flat? And here's the kicker. This is the type of thing that just makes it so obvious that people like the Bloody Truth are so focused on finding things that fit their narrative instead of looking at the actual facts that they can't see them right in front of them. On the same page of the document where the Bloody Truth got his quote, it talks about a flight over a non-rotating but spherical Earth. A few pages later, it talks about a spherical Earth again. But hell, even in the very first sentence of the document, it says spherical Earth. The very documents that you like so much because you think they review the true nature of the Earth say spherical Earth. So, how do you like them now?
That's my job! That's what I do! I don't lose! I win! Is there no one on this planet to even challenge me?
Maybe you came by to congratulate me on last night's victory.